All right, what's going on, guys? So for the final part of this presentation, we are finishing up the idea of attracting and monetizing rich community members. So in the previous presentation, we talked about how exactly we attract those rich community members, and you do so through various means. One being you make sure that you have a community to begin with, so that people that are interested in the community aspect of Twitch are attracted to your stream and not another stream. And also, there's various ways that you can contribute to an off-platform community, whether it be through a Reddit, through a YouTube, and through a Discord. And in particular, YouTubes and Reddits, those platforms in particular have high level of contribution, meaning enriched community members are naturally pulled towards those platforms in order to make content for the streamer and the platform and receive that recognition from the community. So this is the monetization aspect of monetizing enriched community members. So there's simple and straightforward ways to monetize ECMs through reinforcement, and this is just something that is sort of across the board streamers utilize to one extent or another, and they don't have to. That's the thing. They don't have to, but they choose to because they realize that this is one way to monetize. One being donation goals. When you have any sort of donation goals, it just fosters the idea of a community, right? So if you say, hey, I'm a streamer starting out and I need $200 for a mic, and you sort of have that progress bar in the chat, what you tend to see is that it sort of feels like, hey, there's a community aspect of it, right? We're contributing to the streamer. Hey guys, let's make sure that progress bar fills up, right? So that's donation goals, top donator on stream. That's just something that you see across the board, and it's just contributing to exclusivity and the hierarchical aspect. Exclusivity being, hey, here's the stream. This is actually the most important part of the streamer's contribution is their live stream, right? We're gonna put your name and how much you donated. Make sure to put how much you donated, and have a special spot on the stream. So streamers always have top donator in stream because they want to provide that exclusivity to show exactly who it was. There's a hierarchical aspect of being, hey, this guy's a top donator, here he is. And you want to make sure you do the price. The reason why, there's nothing that says you don't have to put the price, right? You can just say, hey, top donator is this guy. But they purposely put the price in order to have that competition for the hierarchy, right? Say, hey, this guy donated 100. If you donate $101, you get the spot, right? So again, they don't have to put that. They can just put top donator is Bob, but they choose to do that for no other reason other than fostering sort of that hierarchy aspect. When someone subscribes, it's one thing for the show up in the Twitch chat. It's another thing for a bot in the Twitch chat to make reference to the sub. But when a streamer is making it clear live that, hey, welcome to the club, right? You're fostering that community, right? So there's that exclusivity too, that you that streamer only has so much time on stream, but you actually through your donation or your sub got him to acknowledge you, right? And that acknowledgement is very important for those paid members that want that feeling of community and that feeling of social integration. And this is something that's clear across the board, responding to donations and text-to-speech, right? So that just follows up on, the idea of welcome to the club, but also just responding to donations in general. It's one thing just to say, hey, thanks for $2. Hey, thanks for $4. But when you have people donating, and for you to be able to read it and read it out loud, what you're doing is, you can say the same thing in chat, but you're lost amongst 30,000 other people in chat that are spamming. But hey, you spend $3 to $5 and the streamer will say it out loud, right? So that's very important for that exclusivity aspect of the streamer. He or she takes the time out of his or her stream to respond to it and give you that exclusivity. And maybe you ask a question and he or she responds, or you make a joke and he or she laughs, right? So those people want that impression on the stream by making the streamer react or the community react, because sometimes the donation can be funny, the streamer reacts, and obviously the chat reacts accordingly. And text to speech is something that I can almost remember at one point it didn't exist and then it became a thing. And then At some point, if you donated anything, it was spoken over text to speech. But now streamers, because so many people are donating, so many people think that it's worth it to spend $3 to have a message on chat. Very often they bump it up to $5 or $10 in order to activate text to speech. So what you're in fact doing is, for various degrees in which you sort of make a contribution on stream through getting the streamer to react, and in text to speech it's actually played out loud, you're monetizing it, right? You're monetizing the freedom and the ability to speak. And that when you have that, there are those that are willing to pay that price just for that recognition from themselves, or just for the fact that they want to make a contribution on the stream and make the streamer laugh. Therefore, you have to pay $5 to $10 to do it, right? That's what it is. And streamers regularly pay attention to their moderators, as they should, right? You give them additional duties and privileges, like asking to vet videos. So you say, hey, somebody sent this video on YouTube, can you vet it, right? Just so that there's no N words, or there's there's nothing crude, because what can get by on YouTube TOS doesn't always get by on Twitch TOS, like certain forms of violence. And additionally, you can sort of ask moderators to do other things, create spreadsheets and that kind of stuff. So, it's actually something where if you leave moderators to their own devices, they maybe will become disenfranchised. But when you speak to the moderators and you give them additional privileges, it sort of makes them feel like their job is worth something, right? That, hey, you're contributing to the stream as well by helping me, by vetting these videos, right? So, you always have a moderator that is there to watch a 10-minute video just to make sure there's no N-word or there's no violence, right? And you can have them to create spreadsheets. I've seen of people making contributions to streamers by making spreadsheets of potential variety games, right? That's a lot of work. And what you're promoting is the hierarchical aspect when you are giving moderators additional duties, and the exclusivity aspect when you're responding to them and paying attention to the moderators. And these are just more creative ways to monetize ECMs, but at the same time, larger streamers tend to have these by default, or tend to do these. There's one thing you can do. You can bait donations for reacting to streamer memes, ongoing stream activity. This is sort of a little more complicated than what I have here. Very often, I see, someone making a donation and making a joke, and the streamer reacts in such a way that sort of encourages or promotes, if somebody says something like, hey, this guy, you're bald, right? Asmongold is bald. Then what happens is, if the streamer shows that it bothers them, even though it doesn't, if you show that it bothers them, it encourages others to do the same, right? Because that's what you're doing. You're wanting to make an impact on the stream, and you're wanting to encourage a reaction out of the streamer, right? That's why you bother him or her with these messages. So when you're reacting and you're sort of in a way baiting, what you're doing is you're encouraging others to do the same. When in fact, if you're a streamer, very often you've heard every single rude name and crude humor from the book. Nothing really bothers you when you're a streamer and you're as big as you are, just because you've become desensitized from being online so long. It's just a matter of the community. You just become desensitized to certain things that, most of these things don't bother the streamer, but by the streamer reacting, that's when you can bait donations, right? And doing things in the background, like intentionally falling, you purposely get angry and you throw your controller. Those are things that we've seen across the board. Getting angry and throwing things is something that smaller streamers sort of do in order to get exposure on Twitch fails. The Twitch subreddit the subreddit for Twitch fails, right? Those are things that are just trying to get reactions, right? Ignoring donations so they donate again. I've heard of people doing this. I'm not going to name any names. Additionally, chat decides videos, some control over stream. So not only are you getting control from the streamer and how they're reacting by responding to your donations, how about we allow the players to control the game altogether, right? Or control the stream altogether. Now, you can't have a game where stream is really participating in the game. That's a little more difficult, although there are sorts of games that add that Twitch integration that allows the stream to make decisions in the game. I can't remember the names of the games, but there are those. there has been aspects of like Twitch plays Pokemon, but that just isn't realistic. That's not something that the streamer is there that can be there and support. But when chat decides videos, it allows them to have some control over the stream, right? So SSS being shit show Saturday, which I think is a Soda Poppin's version of donate money, and for every $1 you'll get whatever 3 seconds of video on stream, right? So what happens on those? You have people donating memes, you have people donating anime, and to a certain extent the streamer can sort of foster donations more, right, by showing that something's bothered them, right? So one thing I commonly see is people are donating anime intros or anime scenes, and then the streamer shows that it bothers them, like not another anime intro. And all it does is it just encourages other people to do it, right? So this sort of goes towards the baiting aspect. When you show something bothers them, like a meme or some sort of some form of humor, it'll encourage other people to do it. And in order to do that, they have to pay, right? So you're just monetizing it in a way. IRL responses, write subscriber's name on board. This is just something where you could sort of say their names out loud. And even some streamers, I was mentioning in the previous video that when someone sends them something, they put it in their room. Well, I have seen some streamers that turn around and actually write the names of subscribers and donators on the board, right? So it's not just a matter of, hey, we have an aspect on the screen that has you as the top donator, but in real life, behind me, we're going to put your name. Exclusivity, right? That's what it's fostering. And merchandise is something across the board. Merchandise is not something that is profitable for a streamer unless they have a certain percentage of the community that is willing to pay for it. Otherwise, it's not worth it. It's not worth it for the logo design. It's not worth it for whatever fees they pay through their for the third-party sellers. But merchandise is something that can make a lot of money when you have that community. Again, if you have a community of 100 people, what is the point of buying a hat with the streamer's logo if there's 100 people? Absolutely nothing, right? But if you know that there's a chance that maybe at your school there's 1, 2, 10 other people that potentially watch Twitch and watch XQC, and you have one of his logos on your hat, all of a sudden now, again, when that community is there, making those investments and that recognition from other people becomes worth it. Because there's nobody would buy, these are 2 items from I think PewDiePie's store, nobody would buy a PewDiePie item if they didn't know they can get recognition from it elsewhere, because there's way better ways to donate or to, if you want to support an XQC type streamer, you can donate $10 and he gets $10 minus whatever the PayPal fee is. But when you buy merchandise, they don't keep 100% of what you spend, right? But these aspects, they can wear it in real life. They can go to the Twitch cons and they can show it off to other people. Again, I'm part of the club and I have the streamer's merchandise, and again, you monetize it.